All right, welcome everybody. We're going to call to order the Grand Forks City Council meeting for Monday, November 6, 2023. Roll call, please, Maureen.
Weigel.
Here.
Osowski. Weber.
Here.
Lenski. Here. Kavami.
Here.
Sandy. Veen.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 1.2, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item 1.3, Mayor's announcements. We've had a fifth Monday, so we've had some time. It's been 3 weeks since the last council meeting, so a lot going on. October 17th, we had the North Dakota Water Pollution Control Conference here in Grand Forks. Hadn't been here in a long time, so certainly a large group, and they were very happy with the growth. And our very own engineering director, Al Grasser, I don't know if he's here tonight, put on a good presentation to show what's going on in Grand Forks, which I thought was very well done. Later that evening, we had the Honor Flight come back in Grand Forks, another great event. I'm so grateful that that group, Don Roberts and his group, continue to put that on year in and year out. I know our city administrator went to one out in Bismarck, and I know we put on just about as good of a show. So that was a great event to be part of. Just last week on the 30th, we had the first meeting of the Air Service Expansion Committee meeting, really with the intention of growing air service for Grand Forks, more options and lower prices. I think it's really important, not just for quality of life, but to continue to grow as a community. A very good first meeting. We're going to follow up with the next meeting. Agenda is going to look at different options of expanding flights to Minneapolis, possibly looking at bringing another discount carrier, whether it's a Spirit, Frontier, those types of airlines, and looking at a Western route. Also, United would kind of been the third option, looking at Chicago and Fargo. And again, just bringing more competition into Grand Forks, giving us more options. So more to come on that. And we've got tentatively set for December 4th for that next meeting. Just last week as well, we had the Mayor's Choice Art Show Award. So Muddy Waters, the ceramic and clay group came in, had a lot of their artwork. If you've seen that down in the lobby, some of it might still be hanging there, but just a phenomenal evening. And then we're starting to do some more business meetings. I did this when I was first elected, went around to all the businesses, saw how they were doing, and now we're doing some follow-ups, and mostly it's been positive. Workforce continues to be the conversation of the day. So we'll be doing more of those going into the future. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock in this room, there's a big announcement. Obviously, we're working towards the possibility of a aquatics, turf, and court facility. The city's been working hard to find some private sector naming sponsors, so there's going to be a big announcement on that front tomorrow morning. So if you get a chance and you're available at 10 o'clock and can come in and be a part of that announcement, please do. But some pretty exciting news, and hopefully we continue to find private sector partners and look at funding options for that project. So with that, quite a mouthful. That's what I got for Mayor's announcements today. We'll move on to 2, awards, presentations, appointments, and proclamations.
2.1, Proclamation Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week, November 11th through 18th.
Thank you. We don't have it. This one looks more like a PSA than a proclamation, just to make everybody aware. The Hunger and Homeless Awareness Week is about raising awareness and fighting poverty and increasing accessibility to food and housing. So the Grand Forks Homeless Coalition is looking for your help to raise funds to directly support individuals and families experiencing homelessness as they work to obtain housing. So they're looking for different restaurants to participate in the week of November 11th to the 18th. And you basically donate a portion of your sales during that week to help fight homelessness. These funds will be administered by the group to candidates in need of assistance for application fees, deposits, first month's rent, etc. So if you've got a chance, or you're a business or restaurant that'd be interested in participating, please reach out to the Homeless Coalition. And I'll just read the email real quick. It's GGFCANA, so GGFCANA, C-A-N-A, @gmail.com. And we'll see if we can maybe put that out there as well on our website. That's it for awards and item 2. So move on to item 3, public hearings and second reading of ordinances.
3.1, Public Hearing and Second Reading of Ordinance to dedicate right-of-way on replat of lots 9 and 10, Block 1, lots 1 through 6, Block 2, lots 4, 5, and 6, and Block 3 of Walsh's Industrial Site Number 1, located 2975 North Washington Street.
All right, thank you. I'm going to start with the public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak on item 3.1 this evening? Please come up to the microphone. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing portion and open up to council for questions or comments or motions.
Move approval.
Motion to approve from Mr. Sandy, or Mr. Veen, excuse me, and a second from Ms. Lunsky. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 3.2 is a public hearing and second reading of ordinance to dedicate right-of-way on plat of Excel Energy re-subdivision.
All right, thank you. I will again open the public hearing on item 3.2. If there's anyone here to speak on item 3.2, please come forward. All right, seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing portion and again, open it up to council.
Move approval.
Motion to approve from Mr. Weigel, second from Mr. Kavami. So I got to remember vice presidents and presidents and all that, but any further comment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that's it for item 3. Move on to item 4, citizen comments as they relate to action items. Is there any citizen comments related to action items tonight?
I have 2 this evening for action items. First one, Denny O'Donnell.
All right, Mr. O'Donnell, please step up to the mic.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the special committee for taking this under advisement. It seems to be the consensus of that committee that stick with the routes that we've previously had. And I think that'll greatly enhance the quality of life around the people that live next to the greenway, the people that use this greenway, their safety. And it's a known fact that it can't be patrolled. So if we don't approve that, then we don't have to worry about that. We're still going to have the renegades, and I don't know what we're going to do about that. Maybe the Snowmobile Club, if they would like to see something done in the future, could help out with that, stopping the renegades from using it. So once again, I'd just like to thank the people that were on that council, and thanks for your consideration.
All right, thank you.
Okay, and then I have Jane Croker.
Ms. Croker, please.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to thank the council. I know you've spent a lot of time and effort on the snowmobile route issue this past year, and it hasn't been easy, and I particularly want to recognize Tricia Lunsky and Kyle Kwame for serving on the task group and for all the extra effort you put into this. Over the last year, I've spent at least 40 hours going to all the different access points on the Greenway on the East Grand Forks side and Grand Forks side to observe behavior of snowmobilers, and I've also met with some snowmobilers to listen to their perspectives because I think it's important that we do that. And I don't want it to be an issue where one group of people is demonized. I didn't find any evidence that, unfortunately, snowmobilers will follow a designated route where one exists. Up in Riverside Park to downtown, where we actually have a designated route, I counted 9 different tracks in one area, 15 different tracks in another one. I saw snowmobilers going right on top of the non-motorized trail. And I've had people come up behind me on snowmobiles, definitely going more than 15 miles an hour. And people who snowmobile have told me that 15 miles an hour is painfully slow on a snowmobile, and that people just won't do that. I also went downtown in the area where the trailers park, and it is legal for snowmobiles to go from there north. And in that area, there were at least 26 different tracks. Mayor Bochinsky, you brought up the idea of a trail on the East Grand Forks side, and one of the things I found that I didn't know was there is an unofficial trail that leads from the South End pedestrian bridge north to the Red Lake River, and I saw dozens and dozens of snowmobiles riding on the Red Lake River and then coming over onto that trail or going down onto the Red River. And that East Grand Forks side from way up in the north end, north of the Kennedy Bridge to downtown or to the Blue Moose for sure is very heavily used. So I think that is worthy of further exploration. I know people have talked about that the rivers are not safe for snowmobiling, but there certainly are a lot of snowmobiles on there. And I think it's the same as ice fishing, that you don't go out ice fishing when the ice isn't safe, and I think we can trust snowmobilers not to go on the ice when it's not safe as well. And there might be some ways that we can accommodate their needs by providing additional access points to the river so that they would be able to get around. That small area is all those of us that have non-motorized users have, and there's hundreds, if not thousands, of miles of snowmobile trails in rural areas for snowmobilers to enjoy. And I know many others, and it's not just cross-country skiers, it's sometimes referred to in that way, but actually I see more people walking their dogs and families together, and people snowshoeing, riding fat bikes, walking, running, and so on, all of whom enjoy the quiet beauty and the serenity of that place. I think it is a jewel of our community, and I appreciate your efforts to preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Croker. Any other comments, Ms. Lundmark?
Nope, that's all I have.
Thank you. Move on to item 5, action items. I know we had one on the PFAS 5.9 that we need to pull for some further information. Was there any other items that council would like pulled this evening? Further discussion? All right, seeing none, then we'd look for a motion to move on items 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, and 5.10. Got a motion approved from Mr. Veen, a second from Mr. Kavami. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. So 5.9.
5.9 is the class action settlement of 3M and DuPont.
All right, Mr. Gosted, please.
All right. Public Works was sent the notification of proposed class action settlements, both one with 3M and the other was DuPont. They're very similar. They're both relating to the PFAS litigation that we were presented, I think, 6 months ago or so, of a law firm that wanted the city to participate in this. The staff report indicated that the detection of PFAS in the water system is below the threshold of what's acceptable. I did review the settlement agreement. Just to give you further information, in a class action settlement, they have to go through, you have to send out the notice to all those that would be bound by the settlement agreement. There's then what's called a fairness hearing under class action, where those that object to the settlement can come in and object. The court doesn't have to approve the settlement agreement at all, and if it doesn't approve, then the settlement agreement, you'd have to restart the action. The way it sets up is that if you do nothing, then you're bound by the terms of the settlement agreement, again, if approved through this fairness hearing. A couple of things that I noted in reviewing, both 3M and DuPont have what are called walkaway rights, that if a certain percentage of communities aren't involved in the settlement or don't participate in it, then they can walk away and terminate the agreement at their discretion. The percentages, there was, I think 3M had 17 separate categories that they had to have a percentage in each of those 17 categories. DuPont had 11. I don't know what those percentages are because the percentages were filed under seal and not something that I could gain access to. So I don't know what those percentages are. The settlement calls for 3M to contribute anywhere from $10.5 to $12.5 billion. DuPont is $1.185 billion in the settlement. It seems like a lot of money, but there's a number of communities that are involved. In order to receive any funds, you'd have to submit a claim, and it's a fairly complex claim submission process. The calculation, it's totally unclear to me what amount, if any, the city of Grand Forks would receive through the settlement. The Exhibit O to the 3M agreement sets out a very complex process to determine what, if any, proceeds you receive. Exhibit C is the same type of equation or calculation. Again, it's unclear what the city would receive. The biggest aspect that I've reviewed was the release language. It is very broad, and I guess that's intentional. You're entering into it, and any claim that deals with your drinking water or public water system would be released. It also covers a release for PFAS-related items that are transported or disposed or kept by the city that would contain waste, either in a landfill or wastewater, or if it's water for irrigation or manufacturing, which is interesting in the sense that there may be some wastewater that is used in the Epitome project through the beneficial use. That's covered. There are some exceptions. The exceptions are if you, to the release, that claims relating to remediation of real estate, as long as it has no relationship whatsoever to your stormwater or wastewater system, would still be preserved. And you've got to go through a series of representations that if you're going to bring that type of claim for things that you believe are not covered, you have to make representations and you're not seeking claims that would be covered by the settlement agreement. The concern I've got is that you may be releasing things that you don't know that you're releasing because of the language of the settlement agreement. I do know that the city of Bismarck has decided to opt out. Minot is considering it tonight with a recommendation that they opt out. And in some conversations I've had with the city of Fargo, they haven't done anything yet at this point, but the conversations I've had, it leads me to believe that they're going to opt out as well. The reason we're bringing it to your attention now is the opt-out date is December 4th and December 11th. It's a very complicated method of opting out. We have to make sure that the opt-out notice gets received by a host of individuals and host of parties by those dates, not just put it in the mailbox, but actually received. And I think one of the individuals is in Puerto Rico that we have to send it to. So I've been working with city attorneys in Bismarck and Minot, and we're going to try to come up with a common type of notice and process that we all use for this opt-out. Our recommendation is that the council do elect to opt out of both of these settlement agreements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gosted. So staff recommendation would be to follow Bismarck's, I guess it's, is Bismarck the one that has chosen? Minot and Fargo are likely to follow suit.
Yeah, correct.
But, all right, so staff recommendation is opt out of the settlement at this time. Any questions for Mr. Gosted beyond that? Ms. Lunsky, please.
So in here it says, through sampling, it has not had detectable limits of PFAS in the source water, but earlier you said we were below the detectable, or we were below the amount, so have we detected them in our water?
Councilperson Lunsky, the amounts that were detected were trace limits, so they were below detectable limits. We have to do additional sampling this fall as part of the UCMR, so we'll continue to regulate that, but to this point, we haven't noticed anything that's concerning anyway.
So it is in our water, just not at a point where you're concerned?
Correct. And we know what was in the firefighting foam as well, but we worked with the fire department and we were able to replace the foam that we were currently using as well. But so where we know that we can mitigate or take actions, we have.
Would this be more common in areas that have wells or usage of wells rather than river water?
I understand, from what's been shared with us is it's more the industrial, the bigger cities that have more industry, and I'm not sure if they're finding it within their wells or where their source, or if it's from a different type of water, but.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Costa or Ms. Barbie? All right, any motions?
I'll move approval on staff recommendation.
Got a motion, do we have a second? Motion from Mr. Weigel, second from Mr. Veen. Any further comment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Gosted, Ms. Barbie. We'll move on to 6, information items.
6.1, statement of changes in cash balances as of September 30th.
Thank you. And 7, approval of minutes and bills.
7.1 is the vendor list as is attached.
All right, we have a motion to approve the vendor list. Motion from Mr. Cavani and a second from Mr. Weigel. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And 7.2, minutes from June 5th and the 19th.
All right, same thing, looking for a motion. We got a motion as is for Mr. Cavani and a second from Ms. Lunsky. Seeing no further comment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And thank you to your staff in the finance department for getting 2 of those out in 1 week. Really appreciate that. All right, we'll move on to 8, citizen comments general. Any comments tonight, Ms. Lundmark?
Yep, I have one. Dennis Denault.
Mr. Denault, step forward, please. Give a few more seconds, looking for Mr. Denault.
I think he may have ran to the bathroom. I think his stuff is still sitting over there, so.
Okay. Guess it's up to council. How long do you want to wait? Give you one more call, Mr. Denault. And third and final call for Mr. Denault. All right, we're going to move on to 9, city administrator comments. Any comments this evening, Mr. Phelan? No comments. All right, move on to 10, mayor and council member comments. Mr. Weigel, any comments?
I would just say happy 28th birthday to Mr. Sandy. It's his birthday today, so.
28th?
Yeah, well, maybe lying a little bit.
All right, that's it. Ms. Osowski, any comments this evening?
No, thank you, Mayor.
All right, Ms. Lunsky? No, thank you. Mr. Cavani?
No, thank you.
Mr. Veen? All right, Vice President Weber?
No, thank you, Mayor.
All right, my only comment, just want to thank everybody. I think we've had a good meeting, a quick one. Oh, no, there's Mr. Denault, but with that, everyone's back in school, and I think that we've got a lot going on, so it's been a pretty good couple of weeks, and appreciate everybody's work. So, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, can we just give Mr. Denault his few minutes?
Yeah, I think if you're willing, if we get consensus up there. Mr. Denault, we had called your name, and you may have been in the restroom, but if you want, we will oblige you, and as you fill out a comment card, we'll give you a chance. Yep, step up.
Expecting a quick meeting tonight.
Well, so it catches us all at unexpected times. Sometime we got to use the bathroom, so.
Yeah, it's been a busy day. Anyway, first I'd like to thank the PD. They finally got stopped the guy next door to me. Last Thursday at about 2:30. And this guy was cooking meth since last February. Took a long time to get him, but they finally got him. Along with all the other stuff he was doing illegally. So, hopefully he won't be messing up too many more innocent people for a long time. And there's the old saying, don't take the law into your own hands. But sometimes you got to. When I was up here 3 weeks ago, when I got back to my backyard, I can smell them cooking there again, the new renters. And there sure wasn't bacon.
And as soon as I showed up, and then they're cooking, they always try to disguise the smell. It slowly diminished in about 30, 40 minutes. As soon as I showed up, and this has been going on, like I say, for the last 12, 15 years. It doesn't matter who's renting up there, and that's why under the 3-strike rule, something's got to be done. After he converted it to Section 8 housing, everybody's getting free rent, and there's nobody that has been working from next door upstairs, like I say, in the last 15 years. The city engineering, maybe, I don't know if Al, if you were behind that with the lighting on University, you guys did a good job. You put a street light right in front of that business next door to me. Right dead center. Couldn't have been placed any more perfect. So that's going to put a stop to all the nighttime activity that's usually going on between 11, starts about 11 o'clock at night till about 4 in the morning. They go over to Valley Dairy and they get all their cash, and then they went back upstairs next door. So that's, with that new light you guys put up, it's perfect, and I thank you. And hopefully he won't be dumping too much snow up against the light pole this winter, which we got to talk about later, because he did get a cease and desist last year from Public Works to quit dumping his snow on everybody else's property, and he still did it. And this is going all the way back to Mark Albo days. So anyway, those are the main points. I'm just glad that the PD finally got that guy. It took 1.5 years, but they got him. So he messed up a lot of people with all his illegal drugs upstairs. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Denault. I've got a motion to adjourn from Vice President Weber and a second from Mr. Kavami. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.